So, having studied about the President of India, how we see that he's the nominal head, while at the same time he's also head of the state government of India and he's the supreme commander of the Indian Armed Forces. We studied what are the requirements needed to qualify to become the President of India, what is the term of office, how is he elected, what all powers the President holds. Now we are going to talk about the Vice President. So we say that the vice president he performs all the functions of the president in the absence of president or when his president's office is vacant temporarily. So that is the purpose we have a vice president in case suddenly the president has too much of work, he has to go abroad for certain visits. So at that time there should be somebody handling his work in the country. So there's a vice president who will take over and look after the work. In case the president dies suddenly, he resigns, he is removed, his office falls vacant. In that case, there should be someone to take over and take care of the work. So that is why we have a president. As you can see, as a simple example in your class, usually there are two monitors appointed. In case one is absent, the other can take care. The other one is going to help the his partner, the other monitor in the functioning. So that is why we have a president and then we have a vice president. So the vice president will be performing all the functions of the president in case of the absence of president or when the president's office is vacant temporarily until the time that the other president is chosen. Who is the current vice president of India? As you can see in the picture, it is M. Venkaiah Naidu, who is the current vice president of India. Now, what are the conditions when the office of a president may fall vacant temporarily? We just studied that the vice president he acts as the president when the president is not there or his office is vacant temporarily. Now, when does that happen? Let us see the situations. Suppose the president is unwell, he's not well. So, obviously, who's going to take care of his work? In that case, vice president will take over till the time he's unwell. In case the president has resigned, in that case, vice president takes over until the next president is elected. In case the president is out of the country, again, he has gone out of the country for, signing various treaties, for discussions, and other important work of the country. In that case, the vice president takes over. He looks after the charge of the president. When the president is removed, or in case he dies suddenly, and a new president is yet to be elected. So, till the time a new president is elected, it is the vice president who will be taking the charge of the president and handling all his work. Now, what are the other functions besides acting as the president in his absence? What other functions does the vice president have? Again, we have studied about this in the Union Legislature chapter that the Vice President acts as the presiding officer or the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Again, who is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha? The presiding officer of the Lok Sabha is the Speaker. Speaker acts as the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. But who is the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha? It is the Vice President of India who acts as the presiding officer or is known as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. He is the one who will be conducting the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. So the other work of the Vice President is that he acts as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha conducting the proceedings of the House. Now there is one important note that while performing the functions of the president in his absence, he doesn't conduct the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. That is to say, when he is the vice president, at that time he is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. But for the time period when he's acting as the president, in case the president is unwell, has resigned, or has gone out of the country, or whatever be the situation, at that time when president is not here and the vice president takes up the role of president, at that time he's the president, so he cannot act as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So at that time he will not conduct the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. So what happens in the Rajya Sabha in case now his ex officio chairman, the vice president, is not here? He's acting as the president, he's taking up the charge of the president. Then who will conduct the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha? Again, this has been taught to you. There is a deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha who will take over the work of the, this ex officio chairman, that is the vice president, and he will be conducting the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha until the vice president comes back and takes over the charge. So, while the time you should be aware that the main task of vice president is to act as the president when he is not available temporarily until the next president is elected. And otherwise, the vice president, he acts as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha, conducting the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. At the time when the vice president is acting as the president, at that time he cannot act as the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. At that time, the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha takes over the control of the Rajya Sabha. Then eligibility criteria, that if you wish to become the vice president of India, what are the qualifications needed? One, that you should be a citizen of India. Just like the president, you must be 35 years of age or above. There is one difference, that he must be qualified to be a member of Rajya Sabha. In case of president, we studied that in order to become, president, he must be qualified to be a member of Rajya Sabha. But in case you want to be the vice president, you must fulfill the requirements to be a member of the Rajya Sabha. For Rajya Sabha, what is the difference? Only the difference of age group, that is, you should be 30 years of age. So this point remember. Then he must not hold any office, that is, he should not be employed he should not hold any government job at the central, state or local level. And he should also not be a member of the union legislature or the state legislature. Union legislature, that is Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. State legislature, Vidhan Sabha or the Vidhan Parishad. So he should not be a member of these if he wants to become the vice president. Term of office, again, just like the president, the vice president also has a fixed tenure of 5 years. However, it may end early in certain conditions, just like the president. One, in case he resigns. Of course, if the vice president resigns, then his office falls vacant even before the completion of term. Just like the president, if he is removed from the office, again, he is also removed through this process of impeachment. If he is removed from the office for not abiding by the constitution, for indulging in corruption or so on, so he is removed from the office, there will be a majority passed in the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha will pass a resolution against him, and then the Lok Sabha also, this resolution will go, and if the majority agrees to this, so then he will be ousted from his office. So he can be removed from the office when there is a majority passed in the Rajya Sabha and agreed by the members of the Lok Sabha. So this is similar to that of the President of India.